Founder Stories, Mornington Peninsula. The founder stories behind the brands we know and love. Founder Stories, Mornington Peninsula is about meeting and finding the stories behind the founders who operate hospitality, distilleries. We're sitting here at Flinders today, and I'd like to say welcome to you, Leah.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. One thing I've noticed, you obviously are the head of the amazing empire that is the Epicurean Group, but there's so much more to you, Leah, and it didn't just start with hospitality, did it? You've had such an interesting journey along your life. But if I could take you back today, tell me a little bit about your family.
Yeah, so my life has certainly, people would say colourful. I don't know that I would use that term. There's been aspects of my life that have been hugely challenging, and certainly still to this day, I find many aspects of my life, particularly my past life, my younger self, very challenged by certain aspects. But yeah, there's certainly two sides to Leah, and I think the one side in business many people might know well, or I certainly have a broad network that I'm amongst.
Absolutely.
And so, like everybody, I think there's a certain persona sometimes that we radiate to people, but at the heart of it, the real story is probably one that not everybody's aware of, and certainly that more emotional part of me is maybe what you're referring to.
Yeah. Well, I think when we started to get to know each other, I certainly got to know you, the person behind the brands, which I love. I think you have an amazing group around you, not just in your immediate circle, but also those who support your businesses. And I know that you have had many questions around who Leah is. And I felt very privileged when you said that you would come on the Mornington Peninsula Founder Stories today to share a little bit of that. But if we do, you had a beautiful family unit. You lived on the peninsula. Some people move down here and stay. Some people don't stay. You have stayed. You grew up down here. You're certainly one of the locals, if I can call it that.
Definitely, yeah.
And your brother and your mother were down here with you.
Yes.
And that wasn't always a very easy time for you either in growing up on the peninsula with your brother.
Yeah. So there's myself, I'm the eldest of three children, and I had a very special brother, Matthew, who was 18 months younger than me, and was and still is a huge part of my life. And I have another brother who is 6 years younger, and the most superb mum and my father, and we all lived on the peninsula. And I was schooled at the Peninsula Primary School, Eastbourne Primary in Rosebud, and much of my life was spent on the other side of the peninsula. So I actually grew up in Cape Schanck predominantly. We did, continuously go back to Cape Schanck for whatever reason. And I was educated after that at the local high school at Rosebud. So, we had an exceptional family. We did most things I would imagine that many families do, certainly in my young years. Everything changed, however, when I turned 5. And my brother was diagnosed with leukemia. And that really was the change in the world as I know it, even in ways now. The way that I think what inspires me, his illness really made me grow up very quickly.
Yes. One thing you did learn, and I remember talking to you about this, was a way of giving to people. You felt that you were the head of the table, as it were, because your brother was sick, and your mother needed support. So you were necessarily the head of that table, but you've just made your table extra large and invited more people to it as you've
I think so.
lived and worked down here.
It's only through aging now that I'm 43. And I used to hear people, talk about reflection and how as you age, you reflect. And it's certainly something that I've been doing more of. And I think since becoming a mother as well. My reference to table, as I've discussed with you, was actually well back in my history when Matthew was ill.
Mm.
Much of my childhood was spent being schooled at the Children's Hospital. So he was sick for 5 years. And so the majority of my primary school years were spent in the hospital environment.
Yeah.
And because I was the eldest, I think subconsciously took the role of being a bit of a helper in terms of making sure what I thought was looking after my mum and my little brother and assisting my nana essentially. So we lived at the at the Ronald McDonald House
Mm.
throughout his treatment, and I can remember hospitality. Now that I reflect, was always a huge part of my life, because in the moments where I was at the Ronald McDonald House, we often ate commutally with other families.
Mm.
So there were often all different families within this home that would share breakfast, lunch, and dinner together.
Mm.
And we were all different cultures. We all were different ages. Some had one child, some had more children. But for the time where we ate together, we were all the same. And all of the heaviness and the burden that we carried as either siblings of a child that was ill, or, being with a mother who wasn't coping well, faded away when we sat together in those moments.
Yes.
So hospitality, I always felt, was a vibrancy in my life and an escapism. And that was something that I realised as I aged, that at those very younger years, that's where it began for me.
Yeah. Some crucial moments in your lifespan thus far have brought you back to hospitality each time. So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Within that, you've also now an advocate for Cancer Council Victoria.
Yes.
And run many events out of your amazing venues that you have here on the peninsula. So I guess there is a little bit there that links back to you and your beautiful brother who passed away from leukemia.
Yes.
When you were just 11 years old.
Yeah.
So, and now you sort of stand in his memory and create these amazing events on the peninsula that are quite extraordinary, whether it be an event itself within the Epicurean Group or an event for raising money for Cancer Council.
Yeah.
I think it's a true credit to you, and truly a beautiful honour as well to Matthew, your brother. What an extraordinary thing to do. You tell us a little bit more around your fundraising element as well, because there are many sides to Leah as a hospitality guru.
Yeah, that's I don't know that everyone would agree with that, but certainly I've been doing it for my, what feels like my whole life now. And the fundraising is definitely a huge driver now for what will be the next half of my life.
Yeah.
Hospitality is such a huge part of it and makes me who I am. Without it, I don't think I'm the same person. I did have an unhealthy relationship with hospitality for a long time, and I can touch on the reasons why, but essentially finding the joy again and being involved in hospitality for the right reasons around not using it as an escapism, but more as a joyful experience that I can create for others, and to self-preserve as well. The adrenaline of the escapism was what was driving me for a very long time. And now that I've had time to work through a lot of my personal experiences, I now feel that I can give it exactly as I should, and what will not only benefit myself but also others. And the whole journey around cancer is at the forefront of that.
That's amazing. Not a lot of people know where to channel their grief, and I think you have really nailed it with understanding yourself in that you enjoy hospitality because it's an escape and also a way of channeling some of that grief and energy into something useful, and then obviously using your iconic venues across the Mornington Peninsula to be somewhere where people can go and enjoy. But now we've got the fundraising element as well, which I just think is so important, but really beautiful. So it's a credit, as I've said, a credit to you and Craig. All right, so what's next then for the, not so much the Epicurean Group, but for Leah? Obviously, you do this fundraising. I'm looking forward to the next event as it comes up. But what's next for you, Leah?
Look, at the moment we're incredibly busy with COVID. Was a hugely challenging time for hospitality. It was such a difficult time for me psychologically as well, I'd have to say, because of the reason that I've referenced before. The escapism wasn't available to me at that time. I'd become a mother prior to COVID, and the escapism and the imprisonment that I felt throughout that time was overwhelming. I always said when I went back out of COVID and when my daughter was old enough to go to school and I was able then to go back and function more as a full-time employment, I always said that I would give it absolutely everything, and I feel that I'm there now. I've got the energy that I have wanted to have. I missed it overwhelmingly. The loss of my mother has driven me more than anything else, and my devotion to making sure that I am the best version of myself that I can be for her.
Absolutely.
And I did promise that to her. And so the journey is bright. I think it's full of challenges, and I think we all have them, but I love nothing more than creating memories for others. And, you know, the richness that I have in my memories is my driver. So if I'm able to extend the table to as many people as I can, then that is my mission. And I will know that I'm successful when I do that. So, you know, what is success? It's different for everybody, but for me, it is certainly that the memories that you carry are the true richness in this life. It isn't material. It's not the big, you know, moments that people, I think, with their, what I call, you know, their, what is it? It's almost like what you amplify around thinking something is extraordinary in an egotistical sense. So in our industry, there's a lot of ego as well. So if you create something large, people think it's amazing. But what I actually embrace are the moments that I have to spend with somebody that might walk into the bakery and I talk to, that shares a story with me and I can make a difference to in that moment. It's the small moments that you don't understand in hospitality that are the difference between some people that don't have anyone to speak to in the day, or it can be something as grand as a wedding in which you can create those lifelong memories for people.
That's extremely special, Leah. And it's just to touch on that point as well, it's exactly what we're doing with the Mornington Peninsula Founder Stories. I'm finding that there is never just one brand. There is never just one outcome. There is a whole range of reasons why people choose the industry, or sometimes the industry chooses them. And how they make the most of it. And yours is very compelling, having had both your brother Matthew and your mother pass away, and you've been doing it almost in their honour to make sure that people can find that beauty in special moments, whether, as you've said, wedding, or even just popping into one of your venues around the Mornington Peninsula. I myself find that it's almost like coming home at times when I go and have dinner up at the Epicurean Centre, because you have created that space. But really, what we're talking about here today is that what drives you. And I think it's a beautiful thing to hear that you have not only a purpose coming from your family and what happened there, but also how you can help make it better for the person coming behind you, whether it's somebody who just wants to pop in for a coffee or wants to spend their biggest moments with you.
I think that our industry has, I mean, certainly when I entered into the industry, I was fresh from school and I was waitressing tables. That's how I started. And there was always the question to me, or put to me anyway, that it couldn't be all that I wanted for myself, essentially. What's next? You know, you can't be sort of waitressing for the rest of your life. And I'm proud of myself for staying in an industry that I was immensely proud of. And I'm grateful now that the industry has established itself and it's a credible industry that people actually aspire to be in or have admiration for those that are. It's a very different industry than when I began, but certainly it's followed me around for my life. It's in ways saved my life.
Hospitality saves your life.
I mean, I had Maeve in 2019 and I don't think I've ever been as ill as I was then. I truly suffered so badly when I had her, and it's only been, you know, the last 12 months where I felt completely aligned with my child.
That's beautiful.
I felt so alone and I felt so outside of my comfort. I knew how to perform in hospitality, and it's almost, I sort of think of it as an actress or somebody, as a dancer or somebody that would be behind a curtain and perform, and when the curtain closed, there's a whole nother side of them. And that's how I felt in the time where I became a mother. I felt so isolated from what I knew and how I knew to perform that I had to really work through some really serious past hurts to be able to present myself again in the best version that I could. And it's trying to be an example too for people that are mothers, that, you know, and trying to show people that you can have a really sad story, but it doesn't need to define you. You can still have great times. There can still be amazing accomplishments. There's, such a richness and vibrancy in the work that I do, and that's what keeps me alive.
I love the word vibrancy because that rings true for me as well, in that all we have is connection, really, because we carry all sorts of things, traumas in our lives. And when we put it to good use or we channel it in some way, we understand it, we are able to unpack it, and then we can make it better for someone else.
Absolutely.
So I think that's, again, a real credit to you, and also why I enjoy getting to know you even more, Leah, as you've walked me through your life with your brother and your mother, and now you have these amazing venues across the peninsula. What's next then? So we know that there's a fundraising element that comes along, that you've got events in the calendar already, and I'm looking forward to attending. What's next for the Epicurean Group? What do you think?
Epicurean is such an iconic, I would say anyway, and it's not just my mouth. It has been said to me several times, and I do believe it deserves that title because it has really cemented itself in Red Hill.
Yeah.
We were essentially the first commercial business up on the hill when we started. So since then, we've had amazing neighbours join us, and it's such a vibrant region. Epicurean will be the sort of heartbeat for me for forever. It started what we are now, in that it's been a lot of blood, sweat and tears, a lot of strategy, a lot of rethinking, a lot of diverse, being more sort of courageous than we wanted to be at times. COVID was incredibly difficult. I've made some of the most beautiful friends. I employ the most amazing people. The relationship that I have with my assistant Alex, I can't even talk about because it's too emotional for me at times.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
He's
a very special.
He has saved me from myself at times.
Yeah.
We've built amazing things together, and we continue to work together so closely, and we do have real dreams for where our future will be, and I see him as a huge part of that. I have an amazing team in Ever After Effect, and alongside of Cassandra and a florist who's local here, and a collaboration of all of these local amazing people that now execute with me, and we facilitate not only Epicurean properties but also private and other properties. And so there's so much promise. It's a long road for hospitality. It's a hugely difficult time for hospitality in ways. And I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of Craig, my husband, and I'm proud of everyone that's aligned with us. Because it never is as easy as what people think it is.
Exactly right.
But the show has to go on, essentially, and that's where, the relevance to the curtain opening and closing. Nothing will ever satisfy me the way that hospitality does, though. And I love this region. I believe in it. I believe in the peninsula. I have been so fortunate. Actually, people don't know it about me, but I appear very confident. It's part of what I do for my job. It's part of what makes me successful in, providing service to people.
Yes.
And the escapism is a lot of that. But in my own time, I'm actually quite self-conscious, I would say, and I suppose a lot of women are in ways, but hospitality takes me somewhere that creates the vibrancy, the passion. It gives me a confidence that I can't have without it. It keeps me company. You can't be alone when you're with people.
That's true.
And there's always somebody that wants to share with you around a table. So it's such a rewarding, beautiful thing. There's many things that I would hope to do in my future. The one that taps me on the shoulder the most, though, is to help people that have grieved like me, and to make them appreciate and to understand that there doesn't have to be no life after that pain. It's something you carry with you continuously. But I do believe that my story can help others. And
Absolutely.
I don't believe I'll be doing a justice to myself if I don't share that.
And that's exactly why we had you on today.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for you coming and allowing me the space to help you tell that story. I think you've summed it up perfectly for me today, in that the peninsula is such a special place. It's whether it's the people or the occasions or even the venues, it's got such a beautiful vibrancy, to use your word. And I'm incredibly grateful to live down here myself and have built my business around marketing for these venues, but now stepping behind that veil and being able to really understand the people and tell their story. particularly with yours, Leah. And just as we finish up now, I just wanted to say I'm incredibly humbled, but I'm so proud of you as well in your ability to share or channel that grief that you have carried. I myself carry grief, having had my mum and dad both pass on. And you're not sure quite what to do with it, and it does creep up on you in different ways at different times. And I think you have really harnessed that ability to make it something great, something beautiful, even whether it's sharing memories, sitting down at the table, sharing a meal, and even just coming on the podcast today to share your story and maybe just inspire a few people behind us that are coming up the road. So
Absolutely. And that's I think when I was starting, I was always referenced to when I would be going to Melbourne and when I'd be going to the
Yeah.
city locations. That was where you supposedly became successful.
Yeah.
I did spend time in the city and I did work for hotels for a period of time. And I truly felt that the peninsula had so much to offer, and there is so much vibrancy again, so much that can be accomplished down here.
Yeah.
And it's now that it's probably the most exciting time, I think, for the peninsula. There's so many amazing venues available to people. There's so much great eating. There's so many good wines.
Yeah.
Bass and Flinders today is a great example. And I think the collaboration of people now is changed. And that was something that I was really passionate about coming out of COVID. And certainly the collaborative element, I think, is the future of everybody's success. I'm working with some fabulous venues that supposedly are competition, but now I think all of those sort of words are fading and people are more inclined to be collaborating and, doing things for mutual benefit. And I think in that is such a richness of relationship.
Absolutely.
And that's what I do this stuff for.
I can tell.
Yeah, it's to sit next to people, to talk their ears off, and to hopefully, to create something out of it. And for me now, it's an exciting time, definitely.
Well, congratulations on all of that. But also, when it comes to the peninsula, we are heading into that space where there is something afoot down here. There's some general good feeling that's happening. I think it's going to be the Mornington Peninsula's time over the coming year or years to come. What an extraordinary thing, and I'm really grateful for you to come along and on my first podcast here at the Founder Stories. You've been incredibly inspiring to me as well, and I consider you a personal friend. So thank you again, Leah.
You are so welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This afternoon, we also got one last person to come through the podcast today, and that is Alex from You by Alex. So make sure